Did you know that the relationship that you have with the second teacher in the classroom can affect classroom management? In this video, I will discuss some of the ways that it can have a detrimental effect on classroom management. Then I will give you some tips that will help you navigate this important classroom relationship so that you can make the classroom management stronger. Stay tuned. I have been super lucky to have worked with some wonderful people where we had just complimented each other. So the tips that I provide later will speak to that. But I also have had co-workers who had such tumultuous relationships with the second teacher in the classroom. So before we get into it, when I talk about the second teacher in the classroom, it can be any kind of collaborative teaching relationship. It could be teacher and assistant. It could be two lead teachers, which is like a co-teaching team, or you can even include floaters, subs, or specials teachers in that as well. Now the sub, what I'm thinking about is if there's originally always two teachers in the room and one of those teachers call out, then there's usually a sub called in. Now that we've got that out of the way, let me talk to you about what can happen when the relationship is rocky between the two teachers in the classroom. So some of the things that happens when the relationship breaks down are the children begin to mimic that behavior. Now it may be subtle and sometimes it may even be overt, but the children will sense the strife that is between the two teachers in the classroom and will then begin to start mimicking that behavior. Then they will begin to treat their peers with those similar behaviors. So you want to be careful about that, because once it gets into the student body, then it's going to be harder to pull out and then start all over. I'm not saying that it can't be done, but you don't even want to go there to begin with. Another thing that happens is the children begin to take advantage, and then this could also be led into the fact that they will listen to one teacher over the other depending on that dynamic. Sometimes they can be less cooperative or maybe not even have such a positive response to one of the teachers. Another thing that happens is that the children begin to play you off of each other. So if they know that they can go to one teacher and ask them for something, if they don't get the answer that they want, then they will go to the other teacher and ask them the same question to see if their answer is different and the one that they want. I'm not saying that that doesn't happen in a regular, great relationship that you may have with your second teacher, which that has happened, but the difference is when it happens with a team that is cohesive. Let me speak to when it happened to me, is that we would be able to ask each other, did so-and-so ask you to do X, Y, and Z? And if they said, yes, they did ask me, and I told them specifically no, then the second teacher will back that teacher up. So the difference is that when the relationship is cohesive and you're all on the same page, you back each other up. But on the flip side of that, when it's not such a great relationship, that doesn't happen. Another thing that happens is the nap time blues. And I'm not talking about the children's blues, I'm talking about your blues. So basically, it gives the teachers a hard time, being able to work during nap time or being able to manage nap time because of that. Because they know that there's this thing that they can do with one teacher that they know they wouldn't be able to do with another teacher. I'm talking about in terms of the relationship strictly. I'm not talking about teaching style. So for instance, I know that in one of the schools that I worked in, the dynamic that was built between two teachers was rocky at best. But at nap time, when the one teacher left, the children seized them. They seized that moment to do any and everything. And I would be in my classroom with my children during that time, and I would hear in the next classroom or across the hall all this commotion going on, whether it's children laughing or talking or maybe even some pitter-patter of some feet. So that's what you do not want. You do not want the things, the relationship that happens during the other parts of the day to work its way into the nap time that can turn your nap time into pure chaos. That's something that you do not want to happen. So these are some of the things that can happen when the relationship is not where it could be. So now let me get into some tips that you can use to help you build this great, strong relationship that will help your classroom management. I think this is the perfect topic to talk about at the beginning of the year, which is when I am recording this video, so that you walk into the classroom and are able to build something that's really strong. So the first tip that I want to give to you is to walk into this relationship with a collaborative mindset. So when I say walk into it with a collaborative mindset, I mean you gotta get rid of that hierarchy dynamic. Whether you are the lead teacher and you're going to have an assistant, or whether you have more years than the second teacher in the classroom, or whatever the case may be, you have to get rid of that and go in thinking that you are trying to create a team. That is what you want. You want a team. It's team over titles. So no matter if you are the lead teacher or not, that's what you should be working for. The next tip you want to do, if possible, meet before the school starts. And this is for you to talk and to discover things about each other. And you can talk about the goals and expectations that each of you have for the school year and for the class. And this way you can try to get on the same page with each other. The next tip is for you both to decide that you will come to an agreement or a compromise for tough decisions without taking it personally. This is just a way to take the ego out of whatever decisions you are making in the classroom, because that's what gets us in trouble, is, feeling some type of way because we're letting our ego talk, as opposed to, really getting down to what will matter for the class and for the children. The next tip is to take turns with the various responsibilities of the classroom. And yes, I know that if it's a teacher and assistant situation, that no matter what happens in the classroom, everything falls on the shoulders of the lead teacher. But still, you want to make sure that you're sharing those responsibilities, because it's not about giving this person like cleaning duties, like clean the tables and all these different things, these tasks. They are there to help you just as much as you are there to help them. And that's what happens when you are building a relationship. And regardless of what the dynamic is as far as like titles are concerned, you're basically overlooking this untapped potential if you are only giving the assistant those kind of tasks. And I say this because, I was an assistant, and what really struck out to me as an amazing experience is when the lead teacher in the classroom at the beginning of my career, when the lead teacher gave me the opportunity to create activities, to do activities with the children, lead lessons and things like that, that it was a better learning experience because I got a chance to actually do things, and we all learn by doing anyway. So it was an amazing experience. From then on, that was something that told me that is the type of classroom that I wanted to have when I was working with an assistant. I want them to make sure that they feel that they can participate and contribute in a real way, and not cleaning tables and sweeping floors. So if you give your assistant the opportunity to contribute in a meaningful or valuable way, you will not regret it. The next tip is to be open to learn from each other. And what I mean by this is that they can have experiences or knowledge that you may not be familiar with, or you may not know, that they can use to help with lessons and other parts and other factors in the classroom, just as you are bringing some experiences and knowledge that you have as well. And don't think just because you may have the degree and they may not, that they don't have, that person doesn't have something to contribute, because I tell you this, you're wrong. They will have things to contribute that could make the classroom a much better place. So make sure that you go in, you walk in to this relationship knowing that you can learn from them just as much as they can learn from you. Follow these tips and you will both become a united front that will be able to handle anything that comes your way. And classroom management becomes way easier to handle. Also, I hope these tips help you see the team teaching experience in a new light. Give this video a like if it did, so that other teachers can find it as well. And don't forget to subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell so that you know when the next video has been posted. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye!